Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex and Ryan here, and this is your weekly fishing report. So let's get started with what's going on out there. We'll start off with Rockfish. There's a lot of things going on. Actually, a good amount of good fishing going on now. That after that storm water cooled down, temperatures are most likely in the mid 60s now, and continue to drop. So we know that's a good sign. With this weather coming in now with cooler temperatures, a lot of bait's going to be moving out of those rivers. So a couple areas, I guess, that we've been talking about and techniques. Everything seems to be kind of pushing a little bit south, with the Patapsco still being pretty productive, actually, inside and right around the 7-foot gnaw, 6-foot gnaw, the north side of Belvedere Shoals.
Belvedere Shoals,
There is, we've heard people still going all the way up north.
Like Untitled Chapter.
And there's obviously always going to be some fish in there. Now, is that the best concentration of fish? No. I think that those fish are all spread out throughout the area. Chester River, this time of the year, it's a classic, typical time when those fish will school up right around like the Cape Narrows area there. And you'll produce some good fish in the mid-20s to some 30s. Bay Ridge Pilings will always produce fish. I know you fish there a lot.
It's a live lining. Live lining is probably starting to die off a little bit. Harder to find spots. So, Alex, why don't you talk about some artificials that we can use?
So, in all these areas we've been talking about, if you like to just cast some artificials, obviously throwing jigs is one of the best things to use. And pairing them up with a paddle tail, like a 5-inch paddle tail like that, will be the best thing. Now, we got those diesel minnows, 5-inch chartreuse. If it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. That's the best thing out there. And we also have them pairing. We're going to pair them up with those Coach jig heads. Now, that's one of his new jig head designs, and as you can see, it has a new head design, and that's supposed to make it kind of glide or, kind of wobble as it goes down on the water column. So that's going to help you with slowing down your falling rate a little bit, but also giving you a little bit different action. That's going to be my hot pick there, between a 3/4 and a 1 ounce jig. Anywhere you go around here, that's going to be your best bet to kind of throw out there. Now, something else, if you're, not wanting to rig up stuff like this and you want something simple, this is one of the lures that I've been kind of waiting on throwing out there on breaking fish or just suspended fish, anywhere really, and that's the Nomad Vertex. Why? This is pretty much a rattle trap without, being a hard plastic section. So it's soft body. And there's two different types there. This one's actually the heavier one that's going to actually work like a rattle trap. Every time you jig it up and down, it's going to vibrate. And there's one that actually swims. So that's going to be two things to use out there when you're fishing open water, vertical style fishing, or just fishing around certain deep structure. I know you've been fishing a little bit shallower. And this is the classic time of the year when we want to do that until November, really, until the middle of November. And that's like top water and subsurface lures around shallow water. Mountain Point, right in the Magothy. Classic spot. I know the guys have been catching them out there in the evenings, throwing some of this stuff right here. This is some new items and some old classics. And that's using your regular jerk baits. That's a slow sinking, pretty much twitch bait, so it's going to walk under the water, and your typical pencil popper. That thing is going to work magic. You can get a lot of distance out of that and work it through the shorelines. Other areas where you can utilize those same lures: Eastern Bay, Poplar Island, specifically Tillman Point. All those areas there are going to be producing some fish when you have a good tide or the right conditions for those fish to kind of come up and hit topwater lures. Other than that, work your way south. There's fish spread out everywhere. I've been hearing things about the mouth of the Chop Tank having some good fish pushing south towards Chesapeake Beach. There's been a couple boats trolling from the mouth of the Severn down to Thomas Point and producing decent sized fish. I heard a lot of things and seen a lot of things out there of people catching mid-20s to a couple 30s, so it's actually pretty productive out there. Matter of the fact is finding those fish and either sitting on top of jigging and throwing lures, or set up your trolling rig and just kind of head, covering a ledge and whatnot. So rock fishing should be picking up here, and hopefully we'll get a good amount of good reports this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what else we got here, Ryan? I know you've been doing some pickerel fishing here.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of pickerel fishing, and also white perch are also still in the rivers, as I've found. So I've been fishing in the Magothy River. You could fish all the creeks in the Magothy River, whether it's behind Gibson Island, Little Magothy, Old Man Creek is a good spot. So really all those little rivers, creeks up in the Magothy. I'm sure the little rivers and creeks in the Severn are also going to produce the same things at the same times with the same techniques. So for white perch, I've been using these little chatterbaits from Addiction Baits, the 3/16 with the little blade and that little trailer there that they come with. That works really well for the white perch. And then moving on with the same exact lure, as you can see, they have a nice stout hook on them. I like to use this for pickerel with just a little bit bigger paddle tail on the back, using these Minnows in the deal color. I found that the natural colors are really working well, so this will really produce well for you for the pickerel. And that chatterbait's going to create a lot of vibration in the water for when the water is a little bit murky and they're not quite they're sight feeders, so they can't quite see as far, so that chatterbait will really help them. And then speaking of chatterbaits, I have this Stealth Blade chatterbait from Z-Man. This works really well paired up with these Saltwater Assassin Little Boss minnows in the Northern Minnow color. Again, a natural color. And again, with that chatterbait giving off that vibration in the water. And then lastly, we have this Rapala, just a jointed minnow. This also works really well. A little bit deeper lure for fishing in kind of a more main channel. So I believe this is, let's see here, 6 to 8 feet depth. So that'll work a little bit better in the deeper water. So yeah, pickerel fishing, perch fishing, rock fishing, it's all really good right now, and it's gonna get better.
Yeah, this is the time of the year where, you know, it's almost like the spring. Everything starts to pick up, so it's more of like pick your poison, get out there and just fish, because everything's pretty productive. Talking about the Ocean City, surf fishing wise, after the storm, it kind of things got a little quiet on the surf a little bit, but they're still catching plenty of kingfish, you know, spiny dogfish, and a few drum like bull reds left over. Yeah. Other than that, Ocean City, right on the back base, especially on the Route 50 bridge, people have been catching a decent amount of rockfish, and I've seen a couple fish in the mid-30s. I even seen a 40 being caught out of there. Yeah. So good sized fish moving through there, especially when that storm came through. Once again, this colder weather, it's going to have them pretty much biting out there, and then also a good amount of bluefish too. Yeah. Flounder too. Flounder going to be, everything's going to be flowing out. Everything's ready to move out of there. So within the next week or two, everything's going to be pushing out hard out of those back bays, depending on how cold it starts to get, which once again, we got cold temperatures coming up, so it might get them moving. Yeah. Other than that, back here home, if you're fishing from a pier or anywhere shoreline wise, we actually had a good report of surprisingly black drum, right?
Yeah, off of Matterpeak.
Off of Matterpeak. Yeah. So there was a report of like 4 different fishermen catching drum anywhere from like, you know, the 30s to like 50-inch drum.
Big drum. Which
is kind of rare for this time of the year. Yeah. You know, we always see weird stuff out there that we're all catching them on peelers. Everybody out there has been using, you know, cut bunker, cut spot, or peelers. So that's been the baits of choice right now. And I actually even saw a guy just posting on social media that I know at Matterpeak catching a couple little baby redfish.
Oh, really?
So that's still, you know, one of the spots to hit. If you're fishing artificials, Thomas Point Park will be your best bet for, you know, that style of fishing this time of the year. And I've actually seen people produce some 30-inch fish off that park. Remember, you do need a pass, so check that out online. Other than that, crabbing wise, it's still pretty good. I mean, they're moving a little bit deeper. I know Joe here and you know, he's going out there every so often, and he last time we was talking to him, he was saying they were pretty much between 10 and 13 foot of water. So you might have to move a little bit deeper, but that's still producing, you know, get the last few crabs of the year. And other than that, got anything else to add on there?
No, those crabs out there though, they're going to be the best. Fall crabs are always the best.
Yeah.
They're always the fullest. So yeah, like you said, just go a little bit deeper for them. You
Right.
should get on them.
Now, other than that, we got our sales event coming up this weekend, so make sure you come by Saturday and Sunday. Hot deals. I know we got a lot of stuff on sale. Pretty much everything on the summer is going to be on sale, so come by and check it out, and you guys have a good one.